Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So Senator Bernie Sanders once again released his Social Security Expansion Act with the hope that not only would it make Social Security solvent for a much longer period of time through the year of 2100 as opposed to just the next 8 to 10 years, but also that for the first time in 40 or so years, it would also increase benefits across the board for everyone by $200. This would be a pretty substantial increase. However, it seems like it's pretty much just all but dead at this point in time. We're going to be covering that. Plus, some retirees this year have already received $29,328 in payments this year so far. We're going to be going over how they achieved that. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $200 in free stock or $200 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Robinhood. All you have to do is once you click on that link is just sign up for a free account and then simply link your bank account. You do not even have to make an opening deposit. At that point in time, Robinhood will be sending you one free stock worth all the way up to $200. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive the free stock is just sell it for what it's worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our first story of today's video, the average benefit this year so far in 2024 is right around $1,907 for retirees. However, some people are receiving up to almost $5,000 per month. And so far this year, some retirees have actually received $29,238. We're going to be covering this article here by the Motley Fool, which shows just exactly how they are getting such a big payout. So in the first half of 2024, some retirees received total combined Social Security checks of $29,238. That's a lot of money. In fact, it's more than the average retiree will get from Social Security for the entire year. The seniors who receive such big payments are on track for close to $60,000 per year in retirement funds from the government, which should provide a pretty comfortable living standard, especially when combined with other savings. So the first step, of course, is that you have to obviously earn a lot of money for at least 35 years. So seniors who received $29,238 in Social Security payments for the first half of 2024 did so only because they are entitled to the maximum monthly Social Security pays out. That maximum benefit is $4,873 per month. They are entitled to this much money because they earn the maximum countable income for 35 years. This sounds confusing, but here are the basics. So the first, of course, is that Social Security benefits are based on a percentage of average income over the 35 years that your earnings were the highest after your earnings throughout your career are adjusted for inflation. All of your income is also countable and subject to Social Security tax until you hit the wage-based limit. That's a cap that is set each year based on inflation. Anyone who earns above the wage-based limit won't pay Social Security taxes on the extra money and won't have that income counted when their benefits are calculated. And so this year in 2024, for example, that wage-based limit is $168,600. That basically means that you have to pay taxes on the first $168,600 that you earn. Any penny above that amount, you will not be taxed as far as Social Security goes. So basically, you pay 6.2%. Your boss matches the other 6.2%. So in total, it's 12.4% going to the pot. Now, if you are your own boss, if you're like a sole proprietor, whether you're an Uber driver, whether you sell on eBay, whether you have your own business or anything like that, then in that case, you are going to be paying the entire 12.4%. So you are going to be paying a little bit more into the Social Security Trust Fund out of each of your paychecks. So once again, this year in 2024, the maximum amount that you can pay in is going to be on the first $168,600 that you earn. Next year, that's going to get bumped up a little bit higher, more than likely right around $175,000. And then, of course, also those people who are receiving almost $5,000 per month this year, are also waiting until they turn the age of 70. So you can actually start receiving benefits as early as 62. Many people decide that it's better for them to start earlier at the age of 62 because they're ready to retire, and perhaps they have other assets set aside where they can retire and receive a lower Social Security check by deciding to take their benefits at 62 and then combining their other assets they have in savings or other retirement accounts with that, rather than waiting all the way until their full retirement age, whether that's 66, 67, or somewhere in between. And then some people, they wait all the way until the age of 70 because they want to work longer, or perhaps they have other assets set aside where they can live off of those assets in their other retirement accounts, and then wait for their Social Security check to get a little bit larger. So obviously there are a lot of options there. Now, in addition to that, there's actually another bill in Congress right now. There's been a bill in Congress for a while, actually. It's by Senator Bernie Sanders, and it actually boosts the benefits up even higher by $200 per month. It's called the Social Security Expansion Act. We're going to be going over this bill, but also why it's pretty much all but dead at this point in time. So according to Smart Asset, new bill would boost your Social Security check by $2,400 per year. So Bernie Sanders and Democratic lawmakers believe they have a plan to fix Social Security for the long term, and in doing so, boost benefits by $2,400 per year. Sanders and U.S. Representative Peter DeFazio recently introduced the Social Security Expansion Act, legislation that seeks to extend the solvency of the safety net by 75 years and increases benefits by $200 per month, while Sanders sponsored a version of the bill in the Senate with a number of Democratic co-sponsors. DeFazio introduced the same bill in the House of Representatives. So we're going to go ahead and pull the bill up here right now. This is straight from congress.gov, which basically shows what's in the bill, who is co-sponsoring the bill, and basically a co-sponsor is whenever a lawmaker signs onto the bill and say that I fully support this bill, I think that it should pass, and if voted on, I would vote yes on it. So we're going to go ahead and pull it up, and right now, this is the Social Security Expansion Act. You can see right now it does have 10 co-sponsors. However, on the left side, you can see that it says party of co-sponsor, and all 10 happen to be Democrats, which means that for one, we don't even have all the Democrats, co-signing onto the bill. In total, there's 51. There's actually 49 to be exact, but there are 2 independents. There's independents usually side with Democrats, so it's pretty much 51 in total. We don't even have all the Democrats signing onto the bill, and even if all the Democrats did sign onto the bill, they would still need at least 9 Republicans to get at least 60 votes. 60 votes is what they need in the Senate for any bill to pass. So right now, this bill does not have any support from Republicans. And right now, at this point in time, we have the election coming up. It's just 4 months away until Election Day. And if Republicans are smart, I mean, not exactly the best thing to do for Americans, but obviously they don't want to give Joe Biden a win right before the election, and reforming Social Security and increasing benefits by $200 per month. And of course, Republicans also don't want to raise taxes on Americans, which is exactly what this bill would do. And right now, all the focus right now, for once, is on Joe Biden. It's no longer on Donald Trump. All the focus is on Joe Biden and the media and Democrats pushing for Biden to drop out of the race. So right now, according to The Hill, all eyes on Jeffries as Democrats weigh Biden's future. So only 5 House Democrats have come out publicly so far to urge Biden to bow out and make room for another candidate to challenge former President Trump, the GOP's presumptive nominee, in November, but that number is expected to grow in the days and weeks ahead, especially if polls continue to show that public confidence in Biden's capacity to hold the office is waning in the wake of the debate. The converging dynamics are thrusting Jeffries into a high-stakes decision, with all eyes in the House Democratic caucus and at the White House, waiting to see how the leader traverses the tricky path ahead. And what's really baffling to me is how the Democrats and how the media is just now figuring out that Biden might just be too old for office. We've seen him over the years falling off his bike and just other, complete mess ups. This is not to make fun of the guy. Honestly, I think I put a lot of the blame on his family for not pulling Biden aside, pulling their dad aside, pulling their husband aside, and saying like, look, you're getting up there in age. Perhaps it's best to step aside and not take on such a stressful role as being the president of the United States is. Maybe Joe doesn't realize that his decline in health is really affecting him. Maybe he thinks that he's perfectly fine. But what's really crazy to me is that also the media is finally the left-wing media like CNN, CNBC, all these news sources that were really pushing Biden as being this excellent, amazing president just a few months ago, just a year ago, and they're now completely turning their back on the president. It's really, crazy to see. And we have like CNN posting these articles, like radio hosts who interview Biden says aides provided questions in advance. This has been something that's been well known for quite a while, that the Biden team was approving questions of what could be asked. So he already pretty much knew what the media was going to be asking him. He had these note cards. We saw pictures where he had these note cards that showed what exactly he was going to be asked. So he already had like these pre-approved questions, and he already knew how he was going to answer the questions. And just now CNN is turning their back on Biden and saying that, radio host who interviewed Biden says that the aides provided the questions in advance. So it's amazing to me that the media is just now turning their back right before the election. No idea what's going to happen, but of course Biden is saying that only the Lord Almighty can convince me to drop out, and Democrats call for him to drop out as those calls are intensifying. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. It looks like the Biden family is going to be a little bit more involved in how everything goes, and I think the Biden family is probably going to be the only people that's going to really affect Joe and his decision to drop out of the race. We'll have to see what happens, though. We're getting very close to the election. How late is too late for Biden to drop out? Will he have to drop out by the end of this month for anyone to really step in and have a chance? Will he need to drop out before the month of August? We'll have to wait and see, but this is pretty much the front and center attention. Everything else is going to be pushed aside, which of course also includes the Social Security Expansion Act. Unfortunately, we're probably not going to see much take action in Congress until after the election takes place. But that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like. Consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.